welcome. Are you on there? Pete, sorry. Right. Welcome to Hexham Town Council of Monday, the 11th of November 2024 at 6 p.m. I'm the Mayor, Derek Kennedy, and I'll be chairing this meeting. Just before we start, as it's the 11th of November, I think it would be only appropriate just to have a minute's silence, and if you could all stand for remembrance. Right, thank you so much. I'm now going to move to item number, what number are we on? I'm being blind. Number 7, to receive a brief presentation on how new legislation may impact on how Hexham's housing needs are delivered. We have David Clegg, who's come to do a conversation on the use of brownfield and greenfield sites and how that may be impacted upon Hexham with the introduction of new legislation. Just as way of introduction to David, for those who don't know him, David used to be a member of this town council for 2 terms.
Just the one.
Just one? For 1 term? Yeah, it felt like 2, David. For 1 term, but David did a fantastic piece of work and led on the Hexham neighbourhood plan over many years and took that from an idea to delivery, which that took several years. It did. So we welcome David, and over to you, David, on your thoughts.
Good. I'm going to make what I think is a crucial link, the link that you might find quite surprising. I could speak for an hour at least on this, but I condensed it into 10 minutes, which I hope is a target that I hit. The crucial link is between the Hexham former middle school site, for which plans have very recently, outline plans have very recently been submitted by the County Council to itself, and Hexham's Greenbelt. A link that might not be obvious, but it's an important link, and if there's a semblance of truth, of reality in what I'm going to say, I would suggest you need 3 assurances from the County Council, at least. The outline planning application made by the County Council to itself is very outline, I've got to say. I've read quite a few of these. And it's based entirely on the December 2023 NPPF, the National Planning Policy Framework. Now, exactly 10 years ago, a month or 2 before I accepted the mantle of Neighbourhood Plan Coordinator, I'm not sure I would have known what the NPPF was or is, but it is the National Planning Policy Framework. It becomes statutory after agreed by Parliament, and it's a method by which governments turn into reality the ambitions that they have for homes, for the use of land, for some elements of transport, for some elements of environmental policy. It becomes a very important document, and it becomes statutory. The County Council have used the NPPF, which is just going out of date. It's going to lose its statutory basis very early in 2025. And I wondered why. Then I read that the lead of the council is ensuring that plans for the middle school site move at pace. I'm more than a casual observer of the county council, but I've never known Northumberland County Council move, and I apologise to any county council present, move at pace. So a little alarm bell rings, and I'll investigate further to discover perhaps why. Based on the outgoing NPPF, the proportion of affordable homes on that site, based on the county's own local plan and on your neighbourhood plan, the proportion of affordable homes will be likely to be 22%. Part of the site is high value land, which would lead to a 25% figure for affordable homes. A smaller proportion of the site is low value land, the bit that's contiguous to the former council estate. And that would lead to a 10% proportion of affordable homes. When those two are combined, it leads to the figure of 22% affordable homes. Now, it's not stipulated in that application. There's no any suggestion of a proportion that there will be of affordable homes because it's blurred. It's nicely blurred at this point in time. And those homes would not necessarily be for local people. Quite a number, I would suggest, would be to be developed on the land that will be purchased by commercial developers. And we know how keen or the opposite commercial developers are to provide affordable homes. They have to be obliged to. They have to be forced to. The most that the county council could do is force them to build 22% of affordable homes. The forthcoming NPPF, which is likely to be subject initially to legislation in January or February, is very different because it's putting different ambitions, different aims for house building, home building, use of the environment, etc., into a statutory reality. It will oblige planning authorities, the county council, rather than yourselves, the town council, to meet targets for affordable homes, homes that meet local need. And those two words, local need, appear again and again and again in the outline proposal to become the new MPPF. We know that housing need in Hexham is surprisingly high. Housing need in Hexham is higher than in any other Northumberland town. So the targets for affordable homes, all tenures, all types, for people of all ages and backgrounds, would be high because the demonstrable statistical need is high. Out of a possible 200 homes on a new middle school site, land owned by the county council, so it doesn't have to spend money additionally simply to purchase the land, of the 200 homes, 40 might be affordable. And that is not enough because it has a knock-on effect. They should be aiming to maximise homes, affordable homes on that site, getting as close to 100% as possible. Because only then will they start to make a dent in housing need in Hexham over 5 years. The statistics of 2 housing need analyses demonstrate that over a 5-year period, 500 plus affordable homes should be built in Hexham to meet current need and to meet the huge backlog which has grown as only 5-bedroom executive style houses have been built. That's prejudice speaking, but it's also a large degree of reality. So you can see why they're rushing through, because they want to avoid the pressure on them to build affordable homes. What's the link to the Greenbelt? in the MPPF to come, will be a hierarchy of land use. The first land to be used for new housing for affordable homes will be brownfield. There's quite a bit of brownfield in Hexham, including the middle school site, including the police house site, including the old bus station. They're eyesores, but they're also a refusal to meet the need for Hexham people of decent homes that they can afford. And to me, that's, to me, that's more important than the eyesore. The eyesore is a very point well made. If you think of some of the brownfield sites, they have to be land backed is the term. They're owned by developers who do everything possible not to move on them because they accrue in value as rapidly as if they'd actually sold them and put the money in the bank over to them. Think of the bus station site, the old bus station site, the workhouse site. There is one that post-dates the neighbourhood plan, which is a large site, which is Dale's Way garage site. If you go for a car wash, you enter behind the petrol station, the Shell petrol station, and the associated old car showroom. Quite an expansive site, where you could get 150 or so homes. Now, when I was no longer a councillor, the owners of that site approached the council, so I was taken along by the then mayor to meet them, because their intention was to build homes on that site. So they are open to the prospect of homes being built. There are a lot of small sites around the town. If you put all the brownfield potential together, minus the middle school site, you get nowhere near that figure of 500 plus over 5 years, I'm afraid. If brownfield doesn't solve the problem, including the middle school site, which is going to be underutilised for that purpose, but if brownfield doesn't solve the problem, it's greyfield next, this new definition of unused, gross land names of towns. There's a bit in Hexham, but not a great lot. And I could take you to a couple, but that's all. And the next land to be used for house building is greenfield, which is already compressed in Hexham, although internal to the town itself, there's quite a lot of green field which can be put under pressure and can be taken for affordable housing. I think you need 3 assurances, and I think this because there's a marginal difference between compromise and acceptance and collusion. Because I don't think the town council should allow itself to be seen as colluding with a county council that is trying to preempt targets for affordable housing by moving at pace now. An assurance from the county council they will maximise affordable homes on the middle school site. To me, that's an obvious one. They should make sure that brownfield sites are used first, as the legislation of the NPPF will insist. And new powers have been provided for planning authorities, like the county council, to oblige landowners, in most cases developers who've land banked that particular plot, to bring forward plans for them that should include affordable homes. But the third is perhaps the important one, that the county council has a strategic plan. They've obviously got an immediate plan, but they need a strategic plan for housing. And that strategic plan will avoid any destruction of our precious, valuable and valued greenbelt and the significance that that will have. I've attended one meeting that went out of control, and I think Derek, you were there too, in 2010, when there was the prospect of the county council building on that land opposite the town council building. Houses there. And one of the most vituperous, unpleasant, unacceptable meetings was the one that was discussing the use of those fields as housing. It was almost as if the golf club had attended with their clubs in their hands, but there weren't clubs in their hands, there were clubs in their mouths. It was the most unpleasant meeting, and that's what we might have to expect. And Machiavelli in me sees it as a different perspective. Think what you may. We have a Conservative county council that's going to be obliged to build a large number of affordable houses in Hexham by a Labour national government. It'd be good for the county council to turn around and say, it's not us, it's the national government obliging us to encroach on your green belt. That's the Machiavellian in me. But it's also the Machiavellian that's seen by someone who has got years of experience in local government in Newcastle City as well as here.
Okay, right. Well, right, thanks for that. We'll just do a couple of questions if that's all right. Okay, so I'll go Penny and Mike.
Thank you very much, and thank you for flagging that up. I think this is really important. So one of the things that I want to ask about is this distinction between affordable housing, because affordable housing, as I understand it, is a percentage of the cost of the market. So houses are very expensive. So I'm wondering why you are concentrating on affordable rather than social housing.
In my language and the language of the NPPF to come, affordable is the global term, the overall term. And in that, yes, you're right, there are two levels of affordability. 80% affordability for market homes built by developers for sale or rent in the open market, and 60% of the market rent or the market price for social housing. Now both are included. All tenures, all types of housing are being are written about in the NPPF to come, but it will be local investigation, local housing need analysis that defines where the proportion should be between the different tenures, between the different types of house for people of different ages.
Where can we find this document that you're referring to? Where can we find the outline plan, the new plan?
Gov.uk is good for most things.
Is that where you got it? Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, we'll get that circulated.
The NPPF to be.
Yes. Was that on gov.uk?
Yeah.
Okay. But we'll get that. We'll get the links here. Mike.
Thanks, David. It's really informative. You said over 5 years to meet needs, we need to do 500 houses. If I gave you a magic wand, and you said that brownfield sites wouldn't do it, where would you put the new housing if you had the budget?
I would start off with a 200 on the middle school site, all of it to be affordable. So only then can you use the site to ease the pressure on the town in the future. If you add all the others together, including the one that hasn't been, the site that hasn't been assessed, which is Dales Way, I think the brownfield will be taking you close to the remaining 300-ish. But it can't be definite. The neighbourhood plan has figures for all the sites that we in Hexham approved, which the county council and its local plan then underscore. There's very little difference between. A lot of small sites, of which the owners are prepared to sell for housing build. Some middle-sized sites, like the old bus depot, is too large for their current use. It's too antiquated for a modern bus depot use. So they would love to be able to move to new premises. So that's one of the sites that is earmarked for housing. So putting all those little ones together and the large ones, including the police houses site, if that use of that is maximised, and if that isn't land the bank, we don't know, might be the case, then you would certainly get above 200 you'd be approaching. those 500 per year. There will be a national formula for identifying housing need, which can't be very dissimilar to the housing needs analysis undertaken in 2016 and in 2022. But there will be a national methodology, and that will give then a figure that will be in inverted commas enforced on Hexham by the County Council, although they hold the strings of power in deciding what will be done and when, as they have the local planning authority.
So, do you know, would there be anything, I know with the old bus station, there was an issue with the loan company that was loaning the money to the council, said that what the developer was asking for was way too much. Is there anything now, is that still going to be the same? Are you going to get blocked because the developer will just say, well...
There was at one time an outline planning application for that site, and I'm going back perhaps 8 years, and it was a limited amount of retail on the ground floor, but above, flats, apartments of mixed tenure for older people, which, you know, had, well, approval across the town. But it was only an outline planning application, there's been nothing since. And equally, the Rob's building, there, what my officer referred to as the Rob's building, only the ground floor of which is used. The owners, anybody help me? Yes. Somebody or other? Google fossil. They had an outline planning application for the use of the whole of that building, which included housing. So, but I can't include those in any statistics because they're nowhere near the reality.
Okay.
I'm not going to add to in terms of expertise, David, and I know it from many years ago. A couple of things I'm confused about, which so they're open-ended questions. I'm not leveling any political bias at it. Is there any receipts from the sale of the middle school, the old middle school, that has to go to the new school in their financial planning from the county council? I was always led to believe that some of the sales of the old middle school would go towards the cost of the new middle school, senior school. That was one question.
I can say very quickly, there wouldn't be costs that were seen by the public. There might be internal to the county council. What the county council is saying so far, that they will sell some of the land from the middle school site. The receipts from that will help to cover their costs in making that land available, i.e. initial outlay on drainage on this, that and the other. Yeah. They don't need to do that. It will be a small expenditure within the county council budget to actually go ahead and make the whole of that site affordable. Because, you know, Hexham people pay there.
I'm understanding that.
Right.
We talk about two interpretations of the same formula in terms of legislation. The one that's in place now.
Yeah.
So you're saying that 22% of 200 houses, if my maths don't say 44 houses, are affordable. The new legislation, how much would that be? How many houses would that be under the legislation?
It could be the complete site.
It could be the complete site.
The current iteration of the NPPF has its roots in, well, I mean, in Conservative Party policy. The new NPPF, to become statutory at some point early in 2025, is the embodiment of the ambitions of the Labour Party. Right. So they're very different indeed, very different in terms of housing, in terms of the environment, and in terms of facets of transport.
I know we play with words a little bit as all politicians do. Appropriate housing is a bit like working people. It could mean anything, couldn't it? So I'm almost agreeing with Henry here, which I do from time to time. I'm unclear where we're talking social housing, council houses, in essence, and appropriate houses built on an economic scale for private use. Is that correct? Is that my definition? Is it wrong? What is appropriate housing?
Affordable.
Affordable housing.
Yeah.
Sorry. What is affordable housing in a place like Hexham?
Depends on the analysis of need in a place like Hexham. In fact, everywhere, though, national formula, discerning need. There are two essential, within the overall heading, there are two essential types of affordable homes. Those that are affordable at 80% of market rent or market prices, and they are for commercial developers, for them to be able to call a home, a house, or whatever, affordable. It must be 80% of the local predominant prices. Social housing comes in at 60% of local prices. And we know that house prices in Hexham are pretty high, and rents in Hexham are equally high compared to the current.
Okay.
Just one last one.
I was just going to ask what would be the best way for us to flag with the county council, any concerns around the rush to get this site approved. Considering what you said about affordable housing and the need there, what's the best way for us to flag this approach?
From me, I would think or hope that you would formally seek those three assurances from the county council and ask a subtly formulated question, politically formulated if you like, which has got a bite in it, about precisely why they're seeking to move at pace. And that is quoting the words of the council leader as quoted in the Hexham Courant.
Okay, thank you. Right, so I'll just wrap up. So big thanks to David Clegg for obviously keeping a close eye on all of this and his political insight as to why certain events may or may not be happening. Quite interested in your analysis on that. I mean, you mentioned that we're trying to do this at pace. My challenge would be that I don't think this is being done at pace, not by a long shot, because that site has been empty now for 3 years. I still could never understand why, in our working projects, that while Hexham Middle School, Hexham High School, with the middle school, the new middle school was being built, why there wasn't a plan for the middle school at the same time parallel running. Yeah. Because what happened was that they just went and said, right, we'll build a high school, and a fantastic job done. I was there just a few days ago, and very impressive. Great to see kids moving around there and it being a lived-in building. So it's fantastic. We thank everybody for at last having a high school that really is a fantastic facility for our children, because the previous one was just dilapidated and falling down. But for that period of time, that middle school site was just left with nothing, and there wasn't a plan. And that was one of the things that really drove the distraction, that there was no plan as to what that was going to be. And it's just all of a sudden that after building the high school, and then a big period of time taking place, that they've actually started to turn their attention to it. So I personally, I think that should have been started probably 1 year after building the high school. Obviously going to have a bit of snagging and all that in the high school. Should have went straight into that. So I question the at pace, but I'm looking at that probably from a different angle to what you're looking at it.
My update is
yes.
all about May of
yes.
this year.
Yes, of course.
When they got to grips at last with
yes.
planning.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but I'm looking at this like from a bigger, broader angle than that. So I really question that pace, because I think it's just been a pretty disgrace that's been sat left idle for as long as it has. Certainly, I think you have seen, and I know you're a close follower of what goes on in this town council, but the police houses, we've led by me on that one has been something I've been biting on for several years, 7 years now. That those houses there and that land there has just been left to ruinous effect. and not contributing to the social housing and the housing need of Hexham. Similarly, the whole council has been united as one on the old bus station.
Mhm.
You know, and the same, you know, we want to see, you know, 2017, we had Dysart come in here and say, right, we're going to build this, and it looked a good plan, and then we were left with nothing, and nothing has happened since. And again, housing was expected there. So there is pockets and again, you know, you've highlighted the Dale Garage, you know, we've known about that for a few years. Again, you know, that would be a great opportunity. The area where the buses get cleaned up and turned, you know, the terminus there is just in the wrong place. You're absolutely right, that should be another potential brownfield. And also, and one that's largely forgotten about is the old British Telecom building,
Okay.
which is a massive building, and no, they have not used that as a significant operation for decades. And I knew somebody who actually worked in there, and I asked him, what actually happens in there nowadays? And he said, it's just a dumping ground for kit.
Mm.
And it's a massive building, and again, massive piece of land, massive building there. And again, that could be another opportunity that is just forgotten about within Hexham. And I'm sure there's others, David. I'm sure there is.
There's a full list in the neighbourhood planning.
Yeah. I'm sure there is a big list of big opportunities out there here. But certainly, I think, you know, that like you just said, is about, you know, we want to maximise affordable and social housing. You know, the use of brownfield sites, and you know, the green belt should be the last option. I think there is tiny little bits of nibble that could happen at the green belt. You know, but you don't want to be going into the Shores Park area beyond there. And we know currently there's you know, there's something going on there, and you know, and I was pleased to chair a residents meeting who are making their views known, and they are putting an application in to try and prevent certain things happening, because we want to defend those beautiful green spaces around there. Well, thank you so much, and we'll have another conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good, right. Right, public participation. So we'll ask members of the public, do you have any questions on any matters related to Hexham or the council? Can you stand and say your name and comment?
Very much related to what you've just been listening to. So a very specific question about your confidence in what's going to happen to the Hexham Middle School site. You're obviously aware that the outline planning application is available to view. 28 documents. I've been reading through them quite carefully. There is not a single mention of affordable or social housing in those documents. The only mention that's on page 22 of the Design and Access Code is that the tenure and allocation of the houses will be explored by Northumberland County Council at a later date. Now, given that your minutes, October minutes, said that, and I'm assuming it was Suzanne who was being quoted, said that the County Council are listening to us with regard to the middle school site. Are you still confident that NCC is going to provide some social housing on that site? If you are, why are you confident? If you're not confident, what will you do?
Do you want to answer?
Yeah, I'd like to comment on that. So we went to a session, I don't know if you went to it also, where the outline plans were presented to us, and we had proper conversation about that allocation of social housing, so-called affordable, as I understand it, the breakdown of the houses, that they actually have attributed numbers to it. So I don't know what's happened between that meeting and what you're stating now. One of the things that I was concerned about, but is actually it's slightly out of context now, considering what David had just told us, is that they have to issue contracts that actually hold any building developers absolutely to account, so that they can't build on the side and say, oh, actually the numbers don't stack up and we're not going to do this proportion of affordable social housing, which is a common pattern. So I was very clear about that because of what happened with the bus station, that, you know, basically the developer can do whatever they like. And they assured me then that that would be the case. So I think that we need to go back to the county council and we need to interrogate a number of points that have been raised within this meeting, actually, because we cannot allow the usual practices of housing development to happen again and again.
Okay.
I'm very glad that somebody's going to start interrogating the county council and hopefully all the county councillors as well, who will not have a say because the outline planning application is going to go to strategic planning committee and none of you sit on the strategic planning committee.
Right. Any further questions? Okay, thank you. Good. Right, apologies for absence, please.
I've got apologies from Farrell, Ballasay, in and Sestford, Smith, Pearson.
Okay. Disclosures of interest. None. Okay. Dispensation. None. Right. Minutes of the last meeting. So the minutes of the last meeting. Have I got these? So this is the minutes of the meeting held on 14 October 2024. Page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4. Permission to sign?
Agreed.
Thank you. Right. Number 8, to consider Hexham Town Council as a coordinator of any future bandstand sessions. I'll introduce Councillor
Right, yes, so this matter went to community engagement, where we had a discussion about it, but we decided that it was good to bring it to the full council meeting. So the bandstand sessions have been running now for 4 years and run every Sunday within the summer months, either May, June, July or June, July. It has varied between 12 and 2. Hugely popular in the town. The town council funds that. And for the last 3 years, that the sort of coordination and management of this has been given to Core Music. So we paid Core Music to basically run it. But Core Music is undergoing quite a lot of changes at the moment, and they are not in a position to offer us what we want. So they've offered us a much reduced programme, I mean hugely reduced programme of 2 two-day sessions, which are 2 hours each, and then 1-day festival. So the proposal that I would like to make, I'll obviously talk to various people about it, including the person who does the programming currently and has done it right from the start, and also have spoken to our clerk about this is that I'm proposing that we take it in-house. Because I've obviously been the lead on it for the last 4 years. It is fairly straightforward. And we've always come in on budget, and it's a fixture in the town's calendar. And so it would be a bit of project management on the part of the town council. Because otherwise, I think our alternative is for it to not happen. And we'll work very hard, really hard, on having it as an established 2 hours on a Sunday. So people actually don't need to know who the artists are going to be, they just come. It's part of the summer calendar. So 2 sessions of 2 hours in one day takes it into a different realm. It would be for the same amount of money. So my proposal is that we run it ourselves.
So second that, Chairman.
Yeah, thank you. So this year, we had, looking at the quantity of what we had. So we had 8 sessions and 8 Sundays as such.
We had 8, yes. Well, sort of 9, because we overlap with the bluegrass.
Yes, and then
so that would be the same.
Yes. So basically, we had. Let's talk about the 9 because the bluegrass was a separate thing, much bigger. So it's 8 plus the bluegrass, wasn't it? And core are offering
the equivalent of
2
in the same model, 12 till 2, 12 till 2, and then a day. So it becomes more of a festival-based event.
So very much reduced programme compared to what has become established.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying. What I'm just trying to make to clarify for all the councillors here is to go. The options is either take it in house and try and I suppose to try and keep to the model that we've had and what the public have got used to, which is the 8 weekends, the 8 Sundays plus a weekend event of bluegrass, or to stay with core, which would be 2 weekends and a day event. So there's a significant difference in the quantity and quality of what's being proposed in those 2 things. And you're saying by bringing it in-house, you would be looking to do something like the model that we had. Yeah, okay.
I think that's a great idea. As long as, we've got the resources, manpower, womanpower. Who would be doing the artistic directorship, as in who would choose the people? Because Paul obviously helped a lot with that.
Yeah, so there's been one person who's done all the programming. And over the years, in the first year, I worked really closely with, his name is John Hurst. I worked really closely with him and we basically programmed together. He is a musician, so he's hugely well connected. The second year, that relationship was the same. Core Music has come under new management, so last year I wasn't involved in the programming at all. But John wants to continue to program in whatever way, and it would be with me in that case. Because he was just subcontract. He was not an employee of Core. It was a subcontracted role. So he wants to stick with the bandstand sessions, whoever organises them.
So it's a brilliant question, but I think what you're saying here is if you wanted to use that person, again, you would just be contracting him as an agent as opposed to Core as the agent.
And second, I've always been a bit frustrated by the marketing of the bandstand sessions, so hopefully taking it in-house will make it very, very clear this is us doing for Hexham, for the people for Hexham.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it was particularly.
I think that's very attractive.
Not as good as it could be.
But I'm not.
Chair, I think it's one of the huge successes of this town council, and it's been acknowledged as such around the room. It's an absolute, for me, no-brainer. and I think it's evolved into something that's going to be better than it already was, and it was good before.
Yeah.
Well done.
So, are we in violent agreement that we support this proposal?
Agreed.
Okay, thank you.
Can I vote for my own
Okay.
motion?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's pretty exciting. Yeah, great decision. Good. Update on number 9. Update on the council budgeting process.
Very, very quickly, really, is just to ensure that everybody is aware that over the next couple of months, the council needs to set its budgets for the different bits that the committees are responsible for. The next budget needs to be agreed in January next year, so obviously everything has to be in place well before then. As a result of the strategy meeting last week, we will aim to have several earmarked reserves in place, and that will have an impact on the budgets for each of the different committees when they start compiling them.
Any questions on that? Good. And so this will be your first round of budgeting, I guess. Yeah, after the full 12 months. Good. Yeah, very easy. Number 10, to receive an update on Hexham Arts Town Initiative.
So the creative partnership met about a month ago now. Penny was there. It was a really good discussion. Everybody's very enthusiastic about taking the project forward. I think it has the opportunity to have a real focus in the town in many different guises. In terms of next steps, there's going to be a questionnaire that goes out to individuals, but that's also going to be supported by a number of different events that target different user groups, and they're going to be held in January in the library, and they'll be well advertised as soon as the advertisements will be prepared before Christmas, and then will be promoted soon afterwards. So hopefully we should be able to feedback early in the new year about how that's going.
Okay. Any questions? Right. So we jump from number 10 to number 12. Right. So this is update on Hexham's potential sites development. Well, I think we've had a very large conversation about that in the round, haven't we?
There is a document that, or some correspondence that Councillor Bells Aikins had from the planners it's relevant to both the middle school site and the bus station, I think. So I'll just read those.
Check on just for information. It's November now. Your presentation was very good. Your comment, I'm not a great fan of Northumberland County Council Planning Department or their Conservation Department. I think they're behind the times. Would it be possible to invite them for interrogation to come to one of the next 2 meetings?
Yeah.
But we could frame it slightly differently.
Yeah,
otherwise they
we could,
won't
yeah.
come.
Yeah.
You could have a broader brief, couldn't you?
Yeah.
And if they don't come, there's a problem there. Isn't there?
Yeah. Good idea.
So can I start how do we, the plans that are out there, which are on the planning portal, which, you know, if you find portal, you can get to read all the documents, I guess maybe we're doing. I mean, we could presumably just stick the link on our website, but is that just feels like with all of these plans, there's sort of a bottom of a cupboard somewhere the council can't get to. Then the site will start, people just complain if they just didn't know. Do we just kind of go, well, we put the plans on our website, there's anything more we can do in terms of, I don't know, having an event, shouting about it, something more than just putting a link.
Well, I will give the county council a due. They have done that when with big major planning events such as the high school, where they've held events in the library and Queen's Hall, and I fully expect them to do that similarly also when they do, because they do that.
Right.
Yeah. So, but certainly, I think we'll make sure that does. Yeah. Yes.
So this is for the middle school site. So Susan asked, can someone help me here on the new plans for the Hexham Middle School site? There seems to be 200 market housing plots, but absolutely no mention of social housing, despite assurances from the leader of full council. The question goes on, but just to go to the response. Firstly, I can confirm that the precise quantum and mix of affordable housing provision will be defined at reserved matters stage, as this will depend on the most up-to-date housing needs intelligence at that time. I can confirm, however, that the overall approach will be that any detailed scheme will meet and exceed policy requirements for affordable social housing requirements. The headline figure on the application form is down to the nuance of the way that the nationally set planning portal application asks for numbers and housing types, but given the ambiguity at present, it's not possible to definitively confirm. This is the reason why the consultants had to put 200 market housing dwellings for application fee calculation purposes. It is the case, however, that the accompanying planning statement sets out the finer details attached for information, which is the same documents on the council planning website. The council will be working proactively with development partners and Homes England, etc., who will be capable of delivering good quality, affordable housing provision that will meet the council's expectations for the site, as well as those of the local community.
Good.
Can I ask a question about that?
Mm-hmm.
I know you might not know the answer really, but why would you design a site that doesn't allow you to distinguish different types of housing? And I would suggest that actually that's not true.
I would agree with you. Totally agree with you.
I'm really concerned about this actually.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that we need to be quite clear that, because there's an election coming up in May, I mean, we don't have any influence really over planning processes. And this is a case of the council submitting to its own planning authority. So where does our influence lie? Well, obviously we have to keep talking to them, we have to keep asking them, we have to keep interrogating them, but we also have to be prepared, A, to go public, and secondly, we have to be prepared to go public at a time when it really matters. And so, I mean, I want to know how long a planning process takes normally and why it's been expedited. There's all these questions that are being raised. But basically, the mix of housing is the thing that we've been fighting for. And I mean, Suzanne and I didn't design a questionnaire about housing because we wanted to sell it to the highest bidder.
Yeah.
We did it because we wanted to know what people wanted.
Yeah.
And if they can have roughshod over that, then they're not our representatives. And that's the point, isn't it? There's a democratically, apparently, elected county council, and we've been through so many hoops to determine what we want on that site. And we were told absolutely clearly that that's what we were going to get. So why is the portal so inadequate that we can't distinguish different types of housing? I think, who do we ask that question to? Sorry, I'm looking at you as if it's your fault. I'm not shooting the messenger. I just think it's an absolute scandal just on that level. And so I would like some advice, some suggestions about what we can do to actually find out whether this is true.
Well, let's, as Stephen Paul suggested, let's get the county council to come and pay us a visit and have a conversation.
So when we invite them, can we ask them, not, at your earliest convenience?
Yeah.
Can we really say that there are some major issues arising? I think we have to flag that straight away and let them need to come and talk to us.
I just can't understand in terms of the time scale. There's a May election, that's not been said otherwise, and they want to do something before that election, one presumes. But I don't think they can pass all the legislation through for to enact it. Surely they can.
Who? The government or the county council?
The county council.
Well, it seems that it's an internal mechanism. They can do what they like, it seems.
And there's a likelihood that there's a change in county council anyway. And there's a likelihood.
Yeah, but if somebody's gone through planning before the law changes, then they're not required to do anything about it. That's the key, isn't it?
Yeah, I think well, we can't find the answer to those questions in this meeting, but I quite understand the suspicions.
We didn't discuss whether we wanted to do anything with the assurances that Dave suggested we might wish to pursue.
Yeah, good point. Well, do we need to, or do we just note them and then bring them up at the
I mean, it's an opportunity. I mean, if the council the town council want to show to the public that they are asking questions about the middle school site, then they seem to be sensible questions to ask.
And they're sensible questions to ask in advance of the council.
So maybe when you write the letter to invite them, you could include the illustrations.
So are we happy that we collectively?
I'll have 2 votes again.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was assurance, will
Maximise affordable
affordable
housing.
use of brownfield sites.
Use of brownfield sites first, and then
strategy for the green processes and
strategy for the use of the green, mapping to green.
Right, we'll discuss in terms of town council strategy, whether we write to 3 county councils. I know you were different houses, perhaps at different times. So the 3 county councils.
Yes.
So they're aware of it.
Yeah.
So it's not just us in this room.
Yeah.
Yeah, because apart from the other 2, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Right, and auto station video.
Yeah. Oh no, it's shambles.
Oh, shambles.
Yeah. So yes, so obviously there was a what do we call it? The peasants were revolting at the bus station. I guess, I extended the ones were revolting at the old bus station.
Bulgaria.
Yeah. I was there once. Yes. Where there was a bit of a request to the county council to stand up and be accounted for the needs of the notice to really have that place tidied up. I thought the article in the Hexham Courant was very, very good, and I thought what was quite interesting was the contributions made by the county councillors, the town councillors, the contribution even by Dysart, and then we asked the county council for a contribution, and it was silent. And I thought that spoke volumes. Their silence, it was just really, really missing, and not very impressive at all. Right, toilets. I have no further update. You will do anything on that?
There have been some complaints about the sealed toilets, and when I raised that with county council, I was just informed we're struggling for budget currently.
The West Road, I've heard, other than the sub-posse, I've heard no thing on that. Police silence, sorry, go on.
Could I just ask, I mean, this list initially I thought was that every month we bother NCC with these questions, and every month we get either a silence, a no, or I've got news for you, but you know, just finding updates through the county councillors, I think it's not enough. NCC need to know that we're on their case every blinking month.
Well, I think that is the case. I think there's been an awful lot of pressure put on them. The old bus station, for example, the police houses, for example. So I think there's been quite a lot of conversation with them.
But an answer back from them or no answer will speak volumes, and this is what we need to publish here in our minutes. My opinion.
The old workhouse, was there any news on that?
We had something in the last minutes that
That's
work
right.
out.
That's right. Shambles, you've got an update on that?
Got to work with Shambles.
Unfortunate name, really, isn't it?
It is.
I thought it was about the bus friend.
I bet we don't know much.
Collected,
Yeah.
It's a repeated gender item. Shambles.
Yes, the plan is still for the works to be undertaken in the new year to improve the shambles and adjacent parking arrangements. We're finalising the plans for this, taking on board local feedback and input, including stakeholders. Once we have finalised this, we'll be in touch to brief stakeholders well in advance of the works getting underway.
Do you have any idea how long they're going to take?
Well, yes, we do, because there was we know how long the works that were scheduled last year were going to take, because it was about. We do know, I don't have it immediately to hand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Off the top of my head, I think it was something like 10 or 12 weeks, but I can find out.
Cycle path, I did receive an email today saying there was going to be some press release going out by the county council on the start of the link between Hexham and Corbridge. Friday. So they've invited county councillors to attend that.
No, the press release is on Friday.
Railway buildings and water tower, any news on that?
Bob Hull passed on the documents from the last works that were looked to be done on there through CSF. So if anything, if anybody does look to have something activated on that side, then we do have access to those documents.
Just on that, Chairman, Lebanon is going to finish because it's already legislation, but the new legislation from the Labour government. I think there could be an opportunity there with new grant funding coming in for us to have a direct influence on that building. Should come about. If I was looking at it from the far, that's what I'd say.
Good point. All right, Mayor's announcements. Okay, so this is the busy part of the year. So after all the plans have gone on for the last few months, they're now turning into delivery mode. So we had Spook Night, which was as popular as ever. Really good turnout by the Hexham public. Very well organised by Hexham Community Partnership. Obviously, there's a big contribution by the Hexham Town Council and councillors. So that was good. The judging ceremony went well. It was great to see how many people actually make an effort to dress up and be part of a really good community event. So that went spectacularly well. We had the fireworks event just a couple of weeks ago. Again, great numbers turned up. We thank the Hexham public for that and their generous donations of monies that contribute to the 2025 firework display, and any excess will be released to the public charities on that. We thank the likes of the Rotary Club and the Tynedale Lions the scouts who came and tidied up as well, and the mountain, mountain rescue who actually volunteered as well and did some mountain rescues on that on the seal. No, they were great. They were really helpful, and you know, they give their time as well as part of the organisation. We're always looking for volunteers. Anybody who wishes to volunteer for fireworks night and the other nights, just is really welcome. So if there's anybody wishing to volunteer for any of these events, you know, are welcome. Please do contact the council. We'll really use your resources and support. Remembrance Day took place yesterday. Again, you know, a significant number turned out. You know, we thank the forces who turned up, and all those groups who also marched. Everything seemed to go well. Just one or two anomalies, but everything seemed to go very, very well. So thank you to everybody for their support on that. There was an unofficial event at the memorial today, which I attended, and there was 50 other people there, just to hold a 2-minute silence at 11 o'clock. There was also the laying of poppies, and our thanks to Suzanne Ferris-Aiken, who led that in the Hexham Cemetery, and the Air Force cadets also in attendance, so thank you to them. Looking forward, we have the Hexham Community Partnership led Lantern Parade on Friday. So that's this is the third one, I think, this third year of the Lantern Parade. It's good. And then on the 22nd is the Christmas lights. So we look forward to that. We've had the gnome turned up from out of the blue after many years of being not around. The gnome turned up again and was on the Tesco roundabout for several days before he was reined in and taken away. And I know many people are a little bit upset that he's not around, but I have asked as to where the gnome has gone and can he be returned to his owners again. But he was very he was around. I think it was during COVID. He was around all those years ago. He was very popular until he got his head kicked in. No, welcome back, no. But I don't know where he's gone now. But we'll find out. Good. Right. 14 to agree.
I'm frequent visitor to the platform band. They tell me a lot of trains are cancelled on Spook Night and on Bonfire Night.
What?
Yeah, I think that's really disappointing. A lot of people with this, you know, kids of a certain age, can't wait for another half an hour. Is there anything we can do just to highlight that to the people who run the trains?
Yeah, absolutely. That's disgraceful. I get the train in the Newcastle every now and again, and you know, you're always looking.
I've seen you.
Yeah. Every now and again, but not often. But you know, you see trains being cancelled fairly frequently. It's not that good.
And at that particular time of night, you know, that there were major events, and I'm sure it was a pop concert.
Well, if I might say, as somebody who only travels by train and bus and public transport, so don't have a car or drive, is that the number of cancellations is huge and has been increasing over time, and successive trains have been cancelled. So but it's all around staffing. It's all around staffing. So no driver, no train. So there's something around a business model that's not working.
Absolutely. Right. So yes, let's. Oh they can get away with it with lateness. Because of lateness and all this type of stuff.
Sometimes they reinstate a train, and I think I don't live at the station. You just told me online that it's been cancelled, and now it's been reinstated 3 minutes before it's due to
Did
arrive.
they? Did they? I didn't know that.
Yeah, they did it the other day, and it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
Resulted
Yeah, that
in
was
me
just
being left
very-
in Bladen
Yeah,
for
in
an hour at 8:30
In-
at night.
very fresh air, of course, because nobody knew.
I know.
Yeah, let's
It's not good.
let's write to them about that and contact the Tyne Valley users as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
I agree.
Thank you for that. Right, to agree, Councillor Payne?
Sure, okay.
Also, is that a replacement? No.
Yeah, that was good.
Oh, you
Yeah.
pennies.
You know, sort of,
Do you want these, Andrew?
well, everybody may want.
Yeah.
I don't know why the old got stuck together.
Oh, I see there's separate sheets. Blimey.
Yeah, you just need one penny.
You're solving it.
I thought, gosh, you've made a lot of payments this month. Maybe you can share it.
Plenty.
You're so funny.
That's very funny. I've got lots of money going in and out.
Right, so we've got the accounts for payment. I'll let you have a quick look at those. Is there any observations?
Yes, I've got one, please, but this is an observation that keeps being made. I will be saying it going to my grave, I think. Is it possible that there's a different section or line around the Grow Hexham expenditures? Because it's not money in, well, it is money in, money out, but it's not town council money, it's grant money.
It is grant money, but all this is a list of
What's going in and
what's
out?
going in and out
Okay,
this month.
okay.
When it comes to kind of the budgets and the accounting for things, then it will be displayed separately.
Okay.
So this is all in date, this is ordered by date.
It's only that
Yeah.
council assessors went a big stink about it because he thought we were paying for something that we hadn't agreed, but it's, so I'm rather sensitive about it, because it's not true. Okay.
Very good. Okay. Grand, right, excellent. Are we content?
Yes.
Agreed.
Thank you. All right, so number 15 is to note the draft minutes of committee meetings. So planning and infrastructure on 1st of October, page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, and page 5. Everybody content? Okay, we happy? Right, that's those. And
You've got FNGPs.
where's FNGP? Thank you. And finance and general purposes of 15 October, page 1, page 2, and page 3. And community engagement, 17 October, page 1 and page 2. Right. And 16 is to note correspondence, any correspondence.
Nothing out of the ordinary, it's just not news, can news, CBA bulletins, Christmas Club, drawing together, and the usual bulletin.
Just a question on Virgin Media. I'm thinking about that. Have they responded at all?
No, I shall. I've chased them
No,
a few times, but I will chase them again, because we've had complaints from residents as well about the state of the road stuff.
Yeah.
After the
And just a schedule of works will be useful as well.
Very good, okay. That's the meeting closed, thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.